welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host. And wow, look out today. We have such a phenomenal guest. We have Lindsay Palumbo. She is the star. She is a flair bartender and star of Shaken and Stirred, latest documentary from Deborah Richards and Patrick Wirtz, producer. From Las Vegas. And I'm so proud of this because I'm executive producer as well. So let's give a super duper warm welcome to Lindsay Palumbo. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Doing amazing. Thank you. How are you?
I'm so great. I was so looking forward to this interview. I'm super excited that you're here. Thank you so much. And also we have Pat as a guest watching as well, Patrick Wirtz, our producer. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Shaken and Stirred. Shaken and Stirred is Flair documentary, and you can rent it or buy it at shakenandstirredthemovie.com. And I'm going to put a link below so everyone can go and check that out. And it's a super fun movie, and it's a blockbuster movie, the latest from Deborah Richards, Las Vegas director. She's amazing, and I love her so much. I love her to the moon and back. But let's get into it right now with you, Lindsay. Lindsay, I want to talk to you a little bit about Overhand Bar. Is that right, in Las Vegas? Do you still work there?
Overhang. Yeah, Overhang Bar. It's located inside of Circa on Fremont Street or Old Vegas, as some people put it. But yeah, I'm still there.
All right, great. So anyone can come by and they can see you perform. They can see you do flair bartending, and you slay it. I've seen the video of you, and you are such a dynamic force, and you represent us gals so much. You do acrobatic moves, and it's really amazing. So you come from Cleveland, right? Is that Mentor, Cleveland area?
Yeah, so Cleveland is like the main big city. I grew up and lived about 35 minutes east of Cleveland in a city called like Menor or Lake County, or however you want to call it. Yeah.
And then you made your way to Vegas, but originally you were going to be a language interpreter. Is that correct?
Yeah, I went to school at Kent State University in Ohio, studying American Sign Language interpreting, and which is, I mean, it's such a beautiful language and culture, and I still love it to this day. I'm still fluent in sign language, so I kind of always have that in my back pocket, but not doing that as a career right now. But I always have that if I choose to go back to it. But right now, like I use it not as often as I would like, but the once in a while I'll get like a guest at my bar that's deaf, and it's always really nice when they're like, because they typically ask for like a pen and paper, and I'm like, oh, are you deaf? And they're like, and it like blows their mind, and it's a really special gift to or skill to have, and yeah, I love it. I've done like nothing professionally, but like I have a buddy. I took him to a comedy show when he was visiting Vegas, and I interpreted the whole show. It was super fun, but it is a
Wow.
beautiful language, and it's yeah, a skill I never want to lose in case I do want to do a career shift, or I can still do both careers. But
Absolutely,
we'll see what
absolutely.
happens.
It's so much fun. And can you sign Shaken and Stirred for us on the program?
Yeah, so with like movie titles, it would usually just be like spelling out, shaken and stirred. Or you could like sometimes with sign language, you would use like the literal like shaken and stirred. But I think like if it was a deaf person, they would probably just like maybe abbreviate it like SS, or something like a name sign is what a deaf person would give a hearing person, or to another deaf person if they have a child or whatever. So
I
there's
love
a lot
that.
of options for that.
So would it be shaken and stirred? Something like that?
Yeah, that would be cute. Shaken, stirred.
Shaken and stirred. I love that.
Shout out to the deaf community. Shaken, stirred.
Shaken and stirred.
I like that. That's cute.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Lindsay. I wanted to ask you about that because I love that you know sign language, and it's such a beautiful skill to have. And I love that you have that as a backup as well. And do you incorporate that a little bit then? You've done a little bit when someone is deaf when they come up. But do you do any other sign when you're doing your moves, or does it not, or are those choreographed differently?
I mean, I think it's different. Like if I'm doing flair, usually my hands are taken up, but I've noticed like anytime I'm in a setting where it's loud, I'll find myself like doing things with my hands more. And if I'm drinking a little bit, I can't help it. Especially like if I'm at a loud bar, I'll start doing sign language. My friends are like, "What? You think we get that?" And I'm like, "Sorry, it's a force of habit." And always with like music in the car, or if I'm like at work walking the casino floor, if I have my hands are to my side, if you look at my fingers, you'll see something going on because I can't help it. Like I love doing sign language to music. It's super fun, and it's it's kind of like you can make it a form of like interpretive dance almost. Like it's in the name, sign language interpreter, interpretive dance, and it's super cool. I
Yeah.
love it.
I love it too. I love it too. I love everything about you, Lindsay. You're really awesome. And you are for me, you're the star of the show. I love Rob and Dean and everyone. They made such a great and Deborah, my gosh, let's give a cheers to Deborah Richards and Patrick Work,
Yes,
who did
cheers.
such an amazing job, aren't they? And I'm just so proud of them, and I'm so thankful and grateful to be a part of their team. So thank you so much on this project.
Cheers to them. Yeah, they did such a phenomenal job, and I was so honored when and I was shocked when they asked me, and I was like, I don't know. I know like I'm not as like well known. Like my name isn't. I'm not Adele Patch. I'm not Colby Lorenzo. But I think my standout is because my skill level. I'm fully aware my skill level does not even come close to matching theirs. But being a female in a male-dominated world, you do tend to stand out more. I think that's why I always tell people, like as a female in a male-dominated field, we have to work twice as hard to get half as far, which is still true. However, with flair bartending, the way that I see it is like I've had to work twice as hard to get half as far as these guys in some contexts. It's more of like working twice as hard to gain the respect and for people to recognize your talents and skill and how much hard work you do. But at the same time, like with flair bartending specifically, and I told you my cats were going to make a cameo. Um, with flair, it's like I'm also fully aware that I have gotten opportunities and recognition because I'm a female. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because the amount of work I've put in doesn't isn't lesser because I'm like, well, I'm just a girl. I'll get it anyway. Like I've done competitions where I was getting a trophy and a check, and all I had to do was show up to a qualifier and literally do anything. I could have dropped everything I touched, and for the final, I could have done the same thing. But I still worked hard to put on a good show and do all that. And same with my job. Like I take a lot of pride in my work, and I didn't get the job just because I'm a female, because that's what everyone was telling me when I went to Circa. But there was 5 other girls that auditioned to work at Circa. But when it comes to qualifications with Flair, I earned it. So I have to always remind myself of that. So with the whole like, and also it's like one of the few jobs where we don't make less money than a guy. Uh, and I think that's just like a human. I mean, I work in the tourist area, Vegas, like so there's the other side of the working twice as hard to get half as far because it's more about the respect and the accolades and the recognition. So it's it's a different perspective on like that whole issue, we'll call it, of female in a male dominated field. A lot of pros and cons, and that's what I really wanted to showcase in the documentary, which I'm so thankful like the parts that they showed in the movie,
Yeah.
because it's not just like it's not just male toxicity, excuse me. It's there's a lot of great things about it too, and I wanted to really like focus on that as well as the struggles that I've had that I don't think a lot of the guys I in the community deal with. And it's, you know, like I said, I can't stress that enough. It's not all bad things. So I'm trying to be able to express both sides of it, like the struggles. This is what we deal with. I thought Robin did a very good job of
Oh yeah.
talking about that side too. She covered stuff that I was like, oh my God, should have totally said that. Like what I always say now, because naturally a lot of my friends and coworkers and people that I surround myself with are men. And it's like, you're one of the guys. What's up, bro? Like, you know, we see you as one of the guys, but you're one of the guys until it's guys' night out.
Mhm.
Out of respect for their wives, their girlfriends, and their families. Like it's, even though it's nothing sketchy or inappropriate, however, going on, it's just like a boundary, like an unspoken boundary and a respect thing. So I'm like, I have to understand it, of course.
Yes. And
But
I'm so proud of you for doing that. Yeah.
thank you so much.
I'm
But
so
yeah, it
proud.
does get hard sometimes.
Yeah, you're blazing trails, Lindsay, and I'm so proud of you. And it is about your skill. And it is tough. You've worked twice, maybe even 3 times or 4 times harder and practice more because it is unfortunately, but you know what you're doing? You're creating you by being you and all the wonderful contributions that you have made to the film and also to Flair bartending are creating the balance that we need. And we need
Yeah.
more of that. So we need more of you. Let's start right away. What did you think about the experience of making a film?
It was very fun. It was very cool. I went into it, you know, when we started filming, I didn't really know what to expect. I was excited, but I wasn't like, I can't say I was too nervous. I think the main thing was like, am I going to be myself with a camera in front of me? Like, just even for example, at work, I'll be doing Flair all day, killing it as soon as someone's like, can I post you on my socials? And I'm like, yeah, then I drop everything, just like knowing there's a camera on me. And I think after watching the film, I love the parts that they did include because I feel like there's certain parts where I'm like, okay, cool. Like the audience is getting the real raw me. I mean, I'm myself the entire time, but I think everybody tends to act and it's all like very subconscious.
Yeah.
Just knowing you're being filmed and it's for a whole thing. And that was why, like in the finals in Florida, there was this extra pressure. There's always nerves, but then knowing like this is for the documentary, like this is a big deal. This is the big one, and that's always gonna, it's human nature that we act and react differently with a camera in your face. But it was a lot of fun, and it made me kind of realize that like I would love more opportunities to be for
Yeah.
film, TV, or whatever. I do have a background like in theater and stuff, and I know documentary is not acting, but I loved the feeling, the whole like getting mic'd up, the cameras, the like the vulnerability on camera, like working like with Patrick. And obviously I got very comfortable with Patrick because that long interview where I did get emotional and vulnerable and was
Yeah.
tearing up a little bit. I'm looking right at Patrick because he's asking me the questions and I'm like, I don't really know where to look. He's like, you can just talk to me. And I'm like, okay. Like I'm glad I've gotten to
Yeah.
know you a little bit because it is a little awkward at times, but
Yeah.
you just kind of have to separate from that. And I
Mm.
think once like after a little while and after the first few filming sessions, I was able to be like, oh, it's you guys again. I knew the team, the crew, and I got, closer with Deborah and Patrick. So it was great. I loved it, honestly.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny, like even in Florida, there's a lot of things that you didn't see on the film. Like Lorenzo and I almost dying in a car accident on the way to the hotel when we landed, where did we land? Fort Lauderdale. And I'm from Northeast Ohio where blizzards, whiteouts, this is the scariest driving experience I ever had. And when we got to the hotel, there comes Deborah and Patrick, and we're just like, we look like wet dogs. We're soaked and we were shaking the whole time. And Lorenzo's just in the passenger seat, like, no, you're doing great. Like, I'm super chill right now. And I'm like, cool, I'm not nervous at all. White knuckling it this hour drive. Well, it shouldn't have been an hour, but it took over an hour to get there. And it was just kind of funny to like, because in the car, we're like, they're going to be there with the camera. We're like, ah, darn it. But I'm just like, okay, let's go. Same
Let's
with
go.
like driving around in Florida. Lorenzo and I went to like the craft store, the grocery store for fresh produce and products and stuff for our displays and everything. And it was nice when it was just me and him because I felt like we were able to forget that she was there. But then we're in the store with the camera following us, and I was like, I mean, I could get used to it. Yes.
Yes. So
So it
this,
was like, like the kind of
yeah.
that 15 minutes of fame where people looking like, why are they having cameras on them? Who is that? And for some reason, that's a really like enticing feeling for me. Even when we filmed at Circa, because I got the lights and people are just at the bar regularly, just not in our section. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It was neat.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
have a natural affinity for it. And you've been on A&E Network Stone Cold Takes on America show. So
Yeah.
that was also exposure to the film and the film and TV industry. So you
Yeah.
share a little bit of what you like and what you don't like. And what stood out as far as an incredible memory for filmmaking? What did you learn about it that you didn't know before?
I mean, I didn't really know anything about it before. And also like hearing from them, like the editing, the color correction, these words I didn't know before that. Like I think that's the only one I have a color correction. And then adding the music in and everything. Like I still am very unaware of that side of things because why would I know that? But just every part of it, like
but you love it, right? You like the
It's so interesting.
yes. And you like the process because you've been part of it. So how was it working with Deborah Richards, film director, a Las Vegas film director? How was that?
It was it was great. She was such a pro.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't know what to expect going into this. I didn't know her experience or really like what they were envisioning for a documentary about Flair. And it was like, and then seeing the final product, her vision come to life, I mean, it's just so impressive. Not that I didn't by any means have low expectations. I just didn't know what to expect. And it was really incredible. And I think I mean, she just killed it. Everything was so like the timing of like, and there's certain things that I was like, oh yeah, I do remember filming that. Like, or certain like questions they would ask in the interview to get certain, like when you see like the certain things that she filmed and asked and everything throughout the process where I'm like, okay, what's the purpose for this? Like filming me right when I got off stage after my finals, and I looked at Patrick or the Joey, who was the key grip, and I'm like, do I really have to do this right now? Like I was emotional, and then seeing it on screen, I'm like, that's why she did that. She like, it's like she had this whole master plan the whole time, and it just all came together, and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. It all makes sense now. But I mean, just so impressed and exceeded any expectations I had or didn't have.
Oh, I love that. And she's so good, isn't she, at directing? She's great
Yeah,
with what needs to be said, and it helps us as the on the other side of the camera. She's so
yeah,
talented. She's got great skills at that. She's fabulous. Lindsay, I'm going to switch it up a little bit here. I know you were tutelaged, you were trained under this gentleman. His name is um, Robbie Flair.
yeah.
Rob Turek, right?
Rob Turek, yeah, he's from Cleveland. He's well, since I've known him and that I've been in the industry, bartender in downtown Cleveland. Um, and I never really, I don't think I met him prior to my exposure to Flair, but I think like just in that industry, it's so like it's the biggest small community out there, and I don't really remember, but somehow we did get connected because I started meeting the people that he had known from back in the day, Flair World, and he was like, oh, like how do you know this guy? And I was like, I was just in Vegas and I met them, and now I want to Flair, and then he offered to start training me because there was an 8 months window between when I decided I was moving and when I moved.
Wow.
And we did, I think honestly, it was only like 3 sessions, met up outside. I think, Cleveland weather didn't permit to do that much longer. And then it was nice because I was watching the YouTube videos and like messaging with the people I had met out here already. Like, what should I order from bar products? And they're like, all you need is a bottle and tin. And of course, I ordered bottles of different sizes, all the tins and this and that. They're like, okay, well, I guess you'll use all that eventually. But it was nice to get a little bit of hands-on, before I came out here, because I can watch a screen and try it all you want, but you see it in person and slow down and not having to press pause or one, but it just makes it a lot easier. It's a better form of learning, especially with something like Flair, because it's not reading or like learning a language. It's physical, like tangible. Like
Yes, it's
so.
action oriented, isn't it? And what was your favorite drink that he taught you? Did he teach you some drinks, some favorite drinks to make, or do you have a favorite drink that you like to make?
So when I started training with him, we didn't focus on like cocktails or whatever, more just like basic Flair moves and fundamentals. I don't really have a favorite drink to make. I like making anything and everything.
Okay.
When it
Oh,
comes to Flair
like le
side,
like lemon drop martinis?
yeah, I actually make a really good one. I like
Okay.
the secret is like using Deep Eddy's lemon vodka. I'm
Oh,
not affiliated with them at all. I just love that vodka.
yeah.
The way that, however they make it is fantastic. But I like making those. I like making classic cocktails, or also like, and it happens all the time when people are in Vegas and they don't usually drink that much. They're like, can you make me something? And I'll usually ask like, what do we like, between vodka, rum, gin, tequila, bourbon, etc. And I'll be like, what? All I ask is like, what flavors don't you like? And they'll tell me that, and I'll come up with something, and they'll be like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, what's your name? They're like, oh, it's Monica. And I'm like, that's the Monica. And then sometimes I don't even know, but they're like, well, how'd you make this? And I'm like, I don't know. It just sounded good at the time. But it's a lot of fun coming up with stuff on the spot for people. And you can kind of like base it off like the demographic. Is it a young lady? Is it an older gentleman? Or whoever it may be for. But yeah, I do enjoy doing that. But I'm not one of those bartenders where like, I don't know, there's a weird reputation that people hate making lemon drops and mojitos. And I'm like, I don't know, we have one job to make whatever you want. So
Oh, I love
yeah, I
that.
have a hard time like not enjoying making something, but
That's
yeah.
what customer service is all about. You're excellent at it. And we have a picture on screen right now. What are you making there? Do you remember what that is? You've got these silver,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah.
So that is whatever shot it may have been. When we do a multi-pour like that, is if people just want that and they want like the different color, like that one I'm doing there is like different colors and no specific order. I'll do like a vodka based shot to where the mixers that we have to use to change the color don't affect, or if anything, enhance like the fruity, fun vodka shot. And vodka's so neutral that you can do like a flavored vodka and pick like a triple sec or a peach schnapps. And then what's making the colors is just different add-ins: blue carousel, grenadine, maybe a splash of pineapple, a little bit of Midori, and all those flavors are gonna taste good with like any vodka or flavored vodka. And with those shots, if they want the different colors, as long as it's not something specific, you can just make pretty much whatever. If they want something specific, we'll do the same thing. Just it won't be colorful unless they want it. Because if they order like a green tea shot, you don't want to add grenadine and blue stuff to that because it'll change the flavor of the shot. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what you being an expert at mixology, that's the mixology department, right? Of knowing what goes what with what?
Yeah, it's kind of like the baseline, in my opinion, for mixology. Like if for example, with what I'm doing in that photo, it's if a guest like we want 10 shots in like the rainbow or whatever, I'm gonna ask them like, okay, what kind of spirit, but I'm not gonna be like, do you want bourbon with it? Because bourbon's not gonna taste good with pineapple with the carousel. So I think like I'm not a super expert on every side of mixology, but I think like that's a baseline. Same with like I said, when guests come up and they don't know what they want and they go make me something, and I don't want to make them just like a sex on the beach or an old fashioned. I want to just create something for them.
Yeah.
That's the ground level of knowing what goes well together and balance as far as like having sweet and sour or spirit forward and those little accents like yeah.
Yeah, that's so much fun. I wanted to circle back. Thank you so much, Lindsay.
Yeah.
How many bottles or glasses got smashed while filming?
While filming, ooh, that's a good question. For me, when I was practicing, I did a lot of the flare codes in the park because I don't have a garage. So we did some of my practice sessions in the park, which is where, unless I'm meeting up with somebody, that's where I would go. And I don't like to take glass to the park in case I break something and public space.
Right.
I don't think we broke too much. I remember that day we filmed at the View Studios. Was it me? One of us broke a bottle. I don't think it was me though. It might have been Colby or Lorenzo. But
Okay.
but you also have to consider like we're preparing for a competition. We're not trying new stuff. So it's
Right.
all the stuff that we've mastered. It's just running it. So
Yeah.
we weren't super prone to breaking stuff. I know in the film Colby had a few lost souls when he unpacked his luggage. He had a couple broken things. All my
Oh,
stuff made it. I was like very happy about that.
I'm glad. I'm glad
Yeah.
to know that. So, what's harder, impressing a rowdy bar crowd, Lindsay, or impressing a camera crew?
Camera crew.
And why is that?
Okay. Rowdy bar crowd are there for the good times. They're impressed by anything you do. Usually, not anything, but a little bit more easily impressed, whether it's because they don't have knowledge or frame of reference when it comes to flair, or because they've had a little bit to drink and they're just enjoying the good times and the vibes. Camera crew, they have okay, so they film Lorenzo and Colby filming all day, and then they film me, and I'm like half as much as them skill level wise. So, I mean, I know that they weren't. Sorry, my cat is trying to get on camera. Um, I never get the sense of them passing judgment by any means, but I'm like, okay, Colby just did 4 bottles. Here's my 2 or 3 or whatever. But
Mhm.
um,
Your
when
cat
it
is
comes,
fine. Your cat is always welcome. Your cat.
we
Oh, you've got a couple of them. Oh, how sweet.
got
Oh,
2 boys hanging out, Mateo and Mijo. We're
oh,
for some reason I also am learning Spanish. So when I got them is when I first started learning Spanish. So they got Spanish names.
that's beautiful. And
Trilingual household.
and they're lovely.
Thank you.
So were you more nervous, Lindsay, about nailing your moves or nailing acting, nailing the moves of the flair or nailing, the right way to act on camera? This is kind of an interesting question because you do live performance. It's all live.
Yes.
It's basically live theater. And then we're transitioning to film. So it is
Yeah.
an interesting, go ahead, love.
I think that is a very good question. And the answer's a little bit tough because nailing the moves, I am being filmed. This is going to go to a big screen. And I know everyone else's skill level that's also being filmed. That being said, I think it's the other side of things that was a little more difficult and not even just, I'm not saying as a female. However, we do tend to care a little bit more about appearance, makeup, smile, hair, whatever. And that was the challenge for me because, and you can ask the film team, they're like, yeah, she wouldn't stop touching her hair. Like you've probably seen this whole time. I'm like glancing at myself trying to fix my hair. But I think because of who I am as a person, it was more about that on screen acting, however you want to put it, because I I'm not always as confident as I appear to be. And I don't think there's any shame in that. I'm a very insecure person, very self-conscious, and I don't think and if there's any like other women or men out there, I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as you
Mhm.
know how to address it and control it and all that stuff. So I don't because people there's such a misconception when it comes to having insecurities like, oh, you should love yourself. It's like, oh, my Alexa just started playing out of nowhere. I don't know if my apartment's haunted. Alexa, stop. That was really weird. Might have a ghost. I'll address that later.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's you can get told a million times a day that you're pretty or nice or whatever. And I do love myself. I love the person that I am and everything I'm about. But I think being insecure it's innate. It's something that's in us and we can't help it. And especially as a female, and like look where I live. I live in Las Vegas, like I'm surrounded by beautiful men and women everywhere I go and work and all these things. And I think it's smart to not compare yourself to other people. But then when you
Yes.
have a camera this close to your face, I'm like, I don't think my makeup is perfect and on point. And looking back when we filmed, I was like it was only a short time, but I feel like during that time, like I also started taking better care of myself. I started doing my makeup differently. I bought different clothes, and I'm like, can I ever redo? Can we just film over that? So I think uh, for me, of course, I care about nailing moves and doing flair and looking great doing that. It's the other side of things, and I don't even think my Invisalign was fully in full swing when we filmed it, and I'm just like, oh, look at my smile, which is something I was insecure about since I was a kid. But it's okay, at the end of the day,
Yes.
it's I'm proud of what I said because I was
Me
nervous
too.
about that too because I'm like I don't remember everything I said or how I acted or reacted, and I'm like we'll see. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that's a really good question.
You
Thank you for
did.
asking that.
Oh, you're welcome. You did great. I think you project confidence in the film, and you're right. We all have insecurities. It's an ongoing process in this life. We're always learning. We're always trying to improve. But I love the fact that you're a natural at it. And as you were going along in the filming process, you wanted to improve and do extra makeup or whatever you felt you wanted to do. And that's perfect because that shows an inclination towards filmmaking and making it better and storytelling. And that's what
Yeah,
it's all about, isn't it? It's about
yeah,
communication and sharing your story, Lindsay, with the world. And
yeah.
I love it.
And it's interesting, and I don't really share this too often because I don't like to being an insecure person, I still fully recognize that what's on the outside, it is all superficial. And that's what I tell people when they're like, oh, you shouldn't be insecure. You need to love yourself, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I do. Just because I don't like certain things about the outside, that's, it's okay, because that's not the important part, you know?
Yeah.
But during the time we were filming, this is not something that I really shared. I was kind of not always in the best place mentally. So it wasn't me getting up early and making sure my hair and makeup were perfect, because there was just certain days that I just didn't have that in me. And then as soon as I get there, I'm like, shoot, why didn't I? And then I beat myself up about it. And then that kind of, it's a domino effect. And
Mm-hmm.
like, there are certain days for filming and I'm like looking at myself and I was like, man, I was, before that picture that you're showing right there,
Yeah.
before that was taken, I was crying in the bathroom.
Oh,
So
really?
like, and it, and it's like we go through things. It's
Mm-hmm.
whether it was just,
It's
I
a lot
don't,
of pressure.
yeah,
It's a lot of pressure, isn't it? And
yeah,
I understand that. I'm so sorry. So you were crying and it got to you, right? It
yeah,
is. It's a tremendous amount of pressure to perform. That's why I asked you, because you're gaining skills. You already have the skills now, both of them.
yeah.
You have them in live performance, and now you have filmmaking, acting skill performance. So it's just a matter of doing that if you want to do it more, and you're so good at it. But yes, I understand the pressure. Was it, and thank God for hair and makeup, because
Yes.
you know what I mean?
But
But
it's
go ahead, Lindsay, what were you going to say?
during that, looking back, I remember how I was feeling that day, but I couldn't tell you why. I think, like I said, it's life. We go through phases, whether it was a personal thing, a family thing, a thing with a boy, which I don't think it was that, but it was, who knows? Who knows what it could have been? That it could have been my hormones off. It could have been PMS. I couldn't tell you. However, like, I think it's, and it kind of goes along, same thing with my job. And I, especially now, like I've been at Circus since we've been open and I've gained such a lot of regulars. And even with not, like, my mindset is this is somebody's vacation experience. Just because I'm having a bad day, I'm not going to take it out on them.
Mhm.
So even just as a bartender, you still have to do the same concept of like, all right, hair, makeup, action. And it's the same thing when you sit behind that bar. And I'm not perfect. I'm not able to mask it every day, whether I'm tired or going through something. And
We're human.
yeah, and I try my hardest to, not show it if it's, and I, most of my days are good days. But like I said, nobody's perfect, and we all
Nobody's
have days
perfect.
or things going on in our personal life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
And
pretty good about it, being nice to people. I'm always going to be kind to people, but it's just certain energy levels
yes, yes.
that are expected.
Oh, of course. And you're doing, by the way, you're doing fabulous right now. And I love everything you're saying. And you're doing
Thank
a
you.
great, yeah, you're doing a great job. And during filming, did you have a signature move you were dying to show on camera, Lindsay, but they didn't get a chance to do it, or you didn't get a chance to do it? Was there anything that you wanted to include in the film that you didn't get the chance to?
That's a great question. Uh, with flair, not really. I did all the things that I am comfortable with, and like my um, go-tos are, that are, whether they're small or big. On the non-flair side of it, I don't even think I talked about the fact that I'm like involved in the deaf community and know sign language. I also do. We tried to arrange it, but we just couldn't make it happen. I like to go to like just the dance studio for fun and do dance classes, and
I
I
love that.
practice like rec sports. So I think it was more
Yeah.
like the parts of my personal life that weren't like those, we'll call them moves. I
Mm-hmm.
also I one of my biggest hobbies is going to like live shows and all that. Like I do that constantly, and I get told a lot that I'm really funny. I'm not trying to be or pursuing stand-up comedy, but it's like one of my favorite things in the world. So like it would have been cool if there could have been like a candid moment that wasn't like, that was true like reality with the guest interaction, because that's what I do all day. Like there's some days where I won't even do flirt with somebody, but they're having the best time and they're laughing and tipping because I'm just always like being a silly goose or like making jokes, whether they're appropriate or inappropriate.
I
So I
love
think
that.
that's one thing where I didn't really display that side of me, but there wasn't really a lot of moments where it was applicable, because when we filmed at work, it was one of those days where it didn't, those interactions are like my one-liners are jokes. I don't know. Maybe I'm not even funny, but people tell me.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And people are entertained. And
Yeah.
your presence, Lindsay, is perfect. It's
Thank
what
you.
people want. It's what people want to see.
Yeah.
You love to be there. You want to entertain. You want to make a nice drink. There's
Yeah.
some flair with it, which is fun and exciting and a performance. And you're there making people happy every day. So I want to thank you for what you do every day.
Thank
You
you.
get up and you put on a nice face and you go out there and you do that, and it just helps people, and it's making this world brighter. And you're right, we may cry 10 minutes before, but then we get it all out, and we need to be able to get cry, we all have days like that. I had a day like that recently, and so you get it out, and it's so nice to be able to have it. You can talk to friends maybe, later about it, or just
Yeah.
cry with a friend. Have you done that? Cry with a friend?
Oh, yeah. So many times.
It makes it so much better, doesn't it? We love that.
Yeah. Or with these guys, or these
Or with
cats
those,
back here.
yes, yes, they're the best. They're the
Whatever.
best.
I don't cry like every day.
No,
I
I
don't know.
know.
It
No,
gets
I
sound
know.
like, but yeah, those excuse me. Yeah, those times are, and sometimes they come at the most inconvenient times when I have to
Yeah,
go be on camera or go put on a show at work or a private event, and we don't have control when those times come. So you just have
I-
to learn how to control it or snap out of it until all right, that's a wrap.
that's right. And then we can go cry. And
Yeah.
I love how you said that. In the documentary, it shows you teach Flair classes. Are you still doing that? And if so, how can people sign up and contact you?
So with the classes, which I absolutely love doing, it's been a little bit of a pause for me because I had just, I've had busy, like 2 years ago was a busy year just with other stuff that I had going on. I do have intentions of scheduling more classes soon, and I'm hoping to do at least one or two by the end of this year. I'm not, and I've been meaning to for years, but then I keep putting it off because I'm a professional procrastinator. I don't have like a specific website or anything. It's all through social media. Um, I think I'm more on like the Instagram side rather than Facebook, but I do post both places. And it's going to be like, I'll post something like class announcement coming soon. And then when I post the flyer, when registration is open, it's usually just through like a DM, or I have my email and phone number on the flyers that I put out. And yeah, like I don't know if it's would be considered unprofessional, but yeah, I take like the payments to like Venmo, Zelle, Pay, whatever you got.
That's
But
great.
it is a very professional and like well-oiled machine, very organized. That's why I'm like I should get a website and do it, but then I'm like I don't know. The social media thing's been working because it's just me. And I think y'all met Allison in the film. She's one of my best friends from Ohio. Uh,
Oh,
she's living in Florida now, so it's just been a thing ever since I started doing it. She's been the one to fly out, and I always offer to fly her out, buy her flights, and pay for everything. And she was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, well." So I call her my unpaid help. She's the best volunteer I've ever had. But yeah, so I've been considering dates and trying to plan like my summer months and fall, winter months. Um, but yeah, it's all done through social media, and that's something I was always afraid of. Like, is it going to come off as unprofessional? You're just sending a stranger to my Venmo, but I mean,
no,
it's
it's
you
fine.
guys know where I work. You can come find me if I ever. But
Right.
then once all that passes, it's all very professional with like directions, time. I have a whole organized day curriculum. I think in the film it showed like on my iPad, I have all these notes that has evolved like from the first time I've done it, and it's I edit and just see what the best like format and order of operations pretty much. So yeah, all through social media, Lindsay Palumbo on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure if you just search that, I'll come up on Instagram. But it's at Lindsay P440 on Instagram.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely follow Lindsay on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for that, Lindsay. And if they made a sequel starring you as a flair bartender turned superhero, what would the title be?
Oh gosh. Um, like a Marvel superhero, like a superhero, and a sequel to Shaken and Stirred. Uh, okay, that's a great question. I'll come up with something.
The Flare Daredevil. I mean, I don't know what would it be something like a Wonder Woman kind of
I feel like a Wonder Woman or like a no, I don't know. I'm not. I don't watch superhero movies. Or like Wonder Woman, but like if Iron Man or Batman, one of the ones with man in it, and Wonder Woman, come on, but not Superwoman. That's too easy.
right, right.
Oh,
Is there a term in Flare that is feminine at all? Is there any terminology in the Flare industry that's feminine? You know, that would be
uh,
that could be a title like
I mean, I think Flair itself is kind of feminine. Don't tell the
yeah.
guys
Oh,
that.
okay. So your character would be the superhero name of the character would be Flare, right?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Flair, actually, and I can't believe I'm saying this on a show, but me and my best friend from back home, Annalise, when I first came out here, we were trying to think of like funny names and catchphrases. And this is so stupid. Uh, we came up with the Flairy Tale or the Flairy Godmother.
Oh, I love that. The Flary
So, yeah.
Godmother. Oh my
So
God,
yeah,
that's
the
it.
Flairy
That's
Godmother, Flairy Tale coming at you live. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell her to watch this. She's gonna be like, I can't believe you said that out loud. So that's always been like an inside joke between us, like over the last 8 years since I've been doing this. And she's like, Flairy Tale coming at you live,
I
or your Flairy Godmother. Here I am.
I love it. So the Flary Tale coming to you live, or your Flary Godmother. Is
Flairy
that right?
Godmother.
I
Sure,
love it. This is perfect.
making all your fairy tales come true. It's so stupid.
This is so
Please nobody out
wonderful.
there call me that.
So
But yeah,
great.
let's make a sequel. I'm in.
I'm in too. I'm ready for the script and all of that. Just sign me up, okay?
Yeah,
I'm ready to support that.
try and stop me.
I love it. Lindsay, what was it like transforming the flare skills? I think we talked about this onto the movie set. Was there any unexpected challenges? Like, did you have to move around, choreograph around the camera or things like that? Did you have to move in certain ways?
Not so much. I think like I mean on stage they're in control of what angles they want to do. Same with that last photo was on the View Studios. They had all this like crazy equipment. There was like a train track and the camera was moving. So a lot of the time, same with practicing in the park, I stood one way and did it like normal. They were never like up in my grill.
Okay.
But I've had that happen before. I actually just recently filmed a commercial for Circa and they wanted to do flare and he gave me like this much room and I was like, dude, like I'm gonna break your camera. And then he was like, we'll just try to do it. Can you flare like up here and then to the side? And I'm like, not really, but I'll try. But with this film, no, it was very they kind of worked around us. And I think with Deborah's background in Flair, I think
Mhm.
she would never have the expectation of like giving us that small space. Like she knows how it goes. So they were, yeah, didn't really have to adjust anything. They really adjusted to us. And one of my favorites was Colby's like drone shots, like, and so he didn't have to hold back at all because he could throw it as high and they'll just move that drone right up. So they did a great job of not like limiting us to spaces or whatever. I think that it's just part of like how much of a pro she is. She was gonna get the shot no matter what, and she made it happen.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And I agree with you. That is the perfection of Deborah Richards' technique. And that's what I was going to say. What kind of directions did she give you, specific instructions on how to move or better capture the action? Did she say, she gave you enough space, like you said, right? Did she say back up or come to the camera closer or
not
any
that I recall.
no? Okay.
I think they really just they had such a great control over their side of
Yeah.
things. So which again I find very interesting and impressive because especially filming something as interactive as Flare,
Yes.
be able to capture like the techniques and technicalities of certain things. And you really see that when they're filming Lorenzo and Colby because they do have a lot more like multiple objects and like technical uh, moves and sequences like a little bit more than I do.
Hmm.
So that was it was great. Whatever they did.
Yes, so you were on set
Yeah.
watching while Colby and Lorenzo got filmed, right? And off to the
For
side
some of the times, yeah.
some of the times. Yeah.
For like the View Studios, I went last, so I got there early and I was just kind of hanging out watching them. when I wasn't crying in the bathroom. But yeah, and then like obviously in Florida when we were I wasn't like in when they were doing like filming in the hotel rooms, but when we were all warming up and even on stage you saw we all kind of bar back for each other. And and that wasn't just for the sake of the film. Like Lorenzo would have been by my side and vice versa, regardless. And Colby's bar back for me in the past on stage and vice versa. But I think the other time when we were together was when I was in Lorenzo's garage using his practice space and we were going over the rules. So I did get to see like how they were capturing both of us, which was really cool.
I love that. And I love that part of the film where you're with Lorenzo. I thought it was so wonderful that he and you have that friendship and that
Yeah,
bond that
it
you,
was it was great. Like I can't say enough good things about Lorenzo. Like not only his skills and professionalism as a bartender and the mixology side and a flair bartender, but aside from that, he's so kind and like he really does have a pure heart and he doesn't do anything for like what's the word I'm looking for? Like out of retaliation or like
Mhm.
to gain something. He doesn't do anything for personal. Like he just genuinely cares about people and helping and he's such a gem of a person. And I was so grateful. Like we had been friends. I think I've known Lorenzo since 2018.
Wow.
And actually, when he moved to Vegas, him and his other friend from San Antonio, I was the one who set up their interviews and got them their first jobs here, which
Oh my
Orlando's
God.
there at the D. And then Lorenzo, of course, he got other opportunities because he's the best. Of course, he's going to get a bunch of opportunities. Um, so when they moved to Vegas, we still didn't like hang out a whole bunch. They were getting settled and they had all their stuff going on like in their regular lives. But this film like really brought Lorenzo and I together and he just made me a lot more comfortable with going over rules and with the cameras on us. Of course, it's a high pressure situation. And we kind of just like clicked and we buddied up real quick. And it was nice to have like such a good friend to go through this experience with. And I've known Colby since 2016, I think, when I first met him. And we've always been buds and all the same competitions, but this kind of like brought us a little bit closer together. We'll always have that little like shared experience that nobody else will have. And that's why like I love the photo of us three like on the red carpet because like there's
Yeah.
just such a memory of like us three going through the trenches together. And the times where it was all three of us, whether we were on camera or not, like we just have these little inside jokes. Like boys would make fun of me for something, and we still talk about that to this day. Like they make fun of me that I can only drink hard seltzer. So in the airport, they had a Truly's like in the bathroom because it was something stupid. They sent me a picture from I was at the airport bar where they were in the bathroom with Truly's like at the urinal, something silly, and like we have an inside joke from the flight. We always like cheers to Melanie, which isn't like a person that none of us know. Like it's always like inside jokes that we got. So it was nice to have that like little friendship between us. And of course, Lorenzo and I got a lot closer during that time, and it was great. Just having that connection and support. Honestly,
Definitely,
a
definitely.
lot of support.
It's so needed, isn't it, in the
Yeah,
performance and entertainment industry? We always talk about support, and I love that you touched on that, Lindsay. And I'm always here. You can always reach out to me if you ever need support on anything or want some promotion. I love promoting people. You know me.
I
And
appreciate.
yeah, you bet. And then also, how long did you guys rehearse? Or you specifically, how long did you rehearse for all of that stuff? Was it hours and hours, or did it? Go ahead. Tell me.
Uh, by rehearse, to me as a with the theater background, that means practicing and running lines. For this, there was no rehearsal. It was all raw and real, and no like, oh, can I? All right, cut. Let's reset the scene. It was none of that. It was, I think, so. I wouldn't say there was any rehearsal. It was all very raw and natural. Like during things like the interviews, I would start answering a question. I'd be like, wait, hold on, and I would restart the sentence, but just saying it in a better way. Or the only thing that they really had to tell me was like during that interview we did it at Legacy Club for me, where it's just like the one-on-one, just me there. Um, they just like told me how to answer questions like that instead of saying, like if they ask me, "What are you doing today?" I don't just say going to the store. They say, today I'm going to the store. So I think that was like the main coaching with those kind of things.
Yeah.
So they would ask me a question, I would start I'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I answered it incorrectly." Then I would say it and then continue with the thought. But it was never like, I didn't have lines. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
just a
So it
little bit of
wasn't. It wasn't take 16 or take 20, right?
I had a few of those where I'm like, oh, hold on, let me rephrase that. And then I would just restart my personal thought from the beginning just because I want to use a different word or a different format of speaking, however you want to call it. But
Wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah.
So we have a picture here of the whole group, the whole team, Deborah Richards and
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
in Florida. Is that right, Lindsay? And
Yeah. And
was that tell us about that. Was that a special moment?
yeah, that was a lot of fun. So that was in West Palm after the competition we were there filming, and we always do. And Rob's the best. He throws these like crazy yard days, but like brings trophies and prizes. Like we do these little competitions. Like when yard days are traditionally just you just get together, hang, flip bottles, work off each other, whatever. Um, that was cool. Yeah, it was like a lot of the competitors, and then the film crew was there. Deborah was there. She started flipping bottles too. It was awesome. They did a little bit of filming there, more like pulling to the side and just like final thoughts. Yeah, and I remember doing a couple of videos with Olia from, well, she lives in New York City now. You'll see her. I think she's featured in the film a little bit, and Ivan, her husband, is the one who won. It was still a special day, and those are always like very memorable because it's not often that we're all just outside under the sun just flipping bottles for no other reason but helping each other and having fun. So
That's right. And Lindsay, I want to give you credit because before that was it was so much energy and output that all of you had
yeah,
given. So it's absolutely natural. I would have been exhausted. I probably wouldn't have even showed up because I would have been in bed because I've been so tired with all the things
yeah.
that you had to do, right? Before.
I think Lorenzo and I showed up pretty late to that one. I was like, dude, that's why I'm wearing sunglasses the whole time. And I kept him on the interview. I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, good for
And
you.
I think they might have done the questioning before I actually started like flaring with Olia and making those videos and having fun with everybody because I was still like, okay, yeah, what do you want to know? I remember in liking one of the things I said in that interview, but I don't think they put it in. It was
Mhm.
just me kind of like having a negative perspective on the competition, despite like how much fun I had over the whole experience. So that day was a little, that just shows like that's how real it was. Nothing was rehearsed. They weren't like, all right, try it again and buck up, kiddo. Like
Exactly.
this is what I said. That's what I was feeling in that moment. So
Yes, and we love your transparency and authenticity, and I want it how it is. I don't mind the truth. I just give it to me. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
care. I'll take the criticism or whatever. Do you know what I mean, Lindsay? I want
100.
I want to hear it. Just give it to
I
me.
agree. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more on that one.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, we're gonna have to start wrapping the show up, Lindsay, but you are an absolute delight and I love your show. It's one of my favorites. But before we wrap the show, I always ask two questions. Is there something you want to promote? And what is your heart message? So I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Well, as far as promoting, like I said, my Instagram is where I'm most active at Lindsay P440. Lindsay's with an AY. See, I can't spell things without doing it with my hands. That's another thing. Anytime I have to spell something, I do it here.
That's
Um,
so cool. I love it.
thank you. Yeah, so Facebook and Instagram, I am not the best at filming like flare content and posting, but I'm trying. But yeah, any announcements for classes or events or just look into my life and what I do for fun and all that. Um, but there should be a class announcement coming in the near-ish future. And then a heart message. Let's see. I think for that, I would say, especially whether you're a bartender or not, is I think the most important thing is treating everybody with kindness and consideration. And by that I mean like if somebody is having a bad day or rude to you or does something, I don't think anyone does anything on purpose with, some exceptions, of course. But when it comes to life and the human heart and the human brain, I am kind of a firm believer in no free will. And I think the explanation on that would take a little too long. But, I think you just need to treat people uh, with some heart and love. I don't think whether it's negative, I think this goes more along with things with negativity. I don't think anyone does anything on purpose. I don't think anyone chooses to do bad things because even if they make the decision to do something or say something bad, I think there's something way more deep-seated that they didn't choose. So that's how I try to treat everybody in my life, whether I'm at work and somebody's an asshole to me. I'm like, I say the same thing every time. If they're rude to me, other bartenders, I get it. Some of these guys have an attitude, but I always know that I'm carrying myself with being genuine and kind. So if someone's rude to me at work or outside of work, I just say, I hope your day gets better, because that's what I would like to remind people. I don't think anyone chooses these things in life. And I don't know, maybe that made no sense at all.
That's beautiful. I love it. It's beautiful. And I hear you and I see you, and it's true, and being kind and basically forgiving as well, what you're saying. And I love that. And I have to say, I love hello kitties. Look at your kitties behind you. They have just a moment ago, one had his paw on the other one. I just love them. Can we say hello to your kitties? Okay.
Yeah, say hi, boys. That's Mateo and Mijo. Mijo means my son in Spanish, but well, from what I'm told, I'm not Mexican, but I pretend to be sometimes. I mean, it's like a slang word for my son, but this guy's named after one of my favorite characters in a show that was all a Spanish family. So
I love it. It's so wonderful. They are beautiful and lovely. And thank you. Thank you for sharing them with us.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, you are a delight. I hope I get to see you in June. Are you gonna be there at the screening?
I just saw the announcement and I've been meaning to text Deb because I am so excited, because I met a couple ladies from the film festival at the premiere. They're like, we would love to be there. I'm like, 100% I'll be there if I'm welcome. So
okay, I hope I get to see you. I hope I get to meet you and give you a big hug.
Oh yes, you owe me a hug.
Yes, sure. I do. I owe you a hug. And
yeah, I definitely plan to be there if I'm welcome. Yeah.
Great, gorgeous, beautiful, sweet Lindsay. Thank you so much for a wonderful show, and I'll be in touch with you soon. Thanks again, and take care. Much love to you, Lindsay.
So much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.